All right, welcome to The Explainer. So there's this major new defense deal between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia that's making some serious waves. But what's really going on? Let's cut through the noise and get right to it.
You've probably seen the headlines, right? They're calling it a NATO for the East. You know, this ironclad pact where an attack on one means an attack on all. But is that really the case? Well, the truth is actually a lot more interesting and way more complex.
Okay, so this is the first thing we really need to clear up. This is not some kind of automatic war pact. Forget that idea. The reality is, well, it's a lot more subtle than that. This is a framework for much deeper cooperation, but it very deliberately steers clear of the rigid promises you'd find in a formal treaty. And believe me, that distinction makes all the difference.
All right, so if it's not a NATO-style war pact, what is it? What did Pakistan and Saudi Arabia actually agree to? Let's break down what's really in this new framework. So check this out. What's really fascinating here is just how deep this integration goes. We're not just talking about handshakes and photo ops. This is about joint planning, way more military exercises, and even working together on defense tech like drones. They're basically weaving their militaries and their intelligence services together. And a huge piece of this puzzle is supporting Saudi Arabia's ambitious Vision 2030 plan to totally modernize its military and its economy.
And this is just as important. It shows you the lines they didn't cross, so there's no tripwire for war. Pakistan isn't formally putting its nuclear weapons on the table for Saudi Arabia, and you don't have that classic attack on one is an attack on all clause. This was all very deliberate. The goal is to boost cooperation, but, and this is key, without Pakistan getting dragged into conflicts that aren't its own.
To really get what's happening now, you got to look back. This isn't something that just popped up overnight. This is a partnership that's been built over 70 years of shared beliefs, Cold War politics, and some major regional crises.
And this timeline, wow, it really lays it all out. You start back in the 50s and 60s with shared ideological roots. Then you move into the Cold War, where they both aligned with the US. Then comes the Afghan Jihad. That's when intelligence cooperation got really intense. But here's a huge moment, 1998. After Pakistan's nuclear tests, Saudi Arabia stepped in with critical financial help. That cemented a bond that goes way beyond just politics.
So that brings us back to today. Why double down on this alliance right now? Well, for Pakistan, this is a massive gamble, a real high-stakes balancing act. It's not just about tanks and jets. It's about keeping the economy afloat and having a bigger voice on the world stage. But yeah, it comes with some pretty serious risks.
And this right here, this table just lays out the dilemma perfectly. On one hand, the benefits are huge. A financial lifeline that's desperately needed, plus access to money to upgrade their military. But on the other hand, the risks are just as real. You've got the danger of getting pulled into regional rivalries, maybe losing some of your independence on the world stage, and even kicking up sectarian tensions back home. It's a classic risk-reward scenario.
And let's be clear, we are talking about a lot of money here. This isn't just talk. These are solid commitments. By late 2025, we're looking at over $2.8 billion in Saudi investments, spread across dozens of different deals. That is a powerful incentive to keep this relationship strong.
So how do you manage all that risk, especially with Iran right next door? Well, Pakistan is playing this really interesting two-track game. You could say that with Saudi Arabia, they're the security provider, offering military know-how and deep cooperation. But with Iran, they switch hats and become the security manager, using diplomacy to keep things calm and manage that tricky border. It's a real tightrope walk.
So let's step back. When you put it all together, is this deal a win for Pakistan? The answer? Well, it's not so simple. It really depends on your timeline. In the short term, absolutely. It's a win. The economic support is a crucial lifeline. But in the medium term, there's a big if. It's only a real win if Pakistan uses this cash injection as a chance to make some real tough economic reforms. It can't just be a crutch. And then, long term, that's where things get complicated. The big danger is becoming too reliant on one partner, which could tie their hands diplomatically down the road.
So at the end of the day, it all boils down to one huge question. Can Pakistan use this powerful friendship to build real, lasting stability on its own terms? Or is the price of that stability giving up its autonomy? How they answer that is going to shape not just their own future, but the entire power dynamic of a very, very important part of the world.